The country's largest civil rights organization accusing Tea Party activists of tolerating bigotry approved a resolution condemning racism within the political movement. But the Tea Party says it's all ludicrous.
Extremists that were members of are tied to David Duke, tied to the Nazi Party, tied to other extreme racist groups throughout the country, are now making their home within the Tea Party.
NAACP makes their living crying racism and dropping the race card at every turn.
The NAACP wants Tea Party leaders to denounce racial elements within their groups, but the Tea Party counters right now that the NAACP is trying to use this issue to fire up their base, raise money for those midterm elections. By those statements, you can see the verbal sparring is just the beginning of all this. So joining us right now for a little more insight is Frantz Kebreau, the National Director Speaker for the NAACPC. It's the National Association for the Advancement of Conservative People of All Colors. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So much to talk about with this issue, but a lot of people are saying they're at their national convention right now. They're becoming maybe not as important in a country where we have our first African-American president, and they've got to create a fight. They've got to create something to talk about to remain relevant. Is that a possibility?
That is absolutely what's going on. You know, I've talked about this ever since last August. I said this is going to be the year of racism. And the reason it's going to have to come out is because they're going to have to gin up their base in order to come back in November to try to be relevant again. Now, the NAACP, what they've done is in this resolution is claiming no facts, there's no proof, but claiming that Tea Partiers are aligned with white supremacist organizations. And by the way, I kind of think that I wouldn't be part of an organization that's with white supremacists, in order to gin up their base, in order to get votes to come out in November. And specifically, they have to do this, and the reason they did the resolution is because the liberal policies of President Obama, are failing, and he doesn't have anything else to turn to. So the only thing, which is really, in my opinion, it's kind of evil, is to turn to race baiting in order to get people out to vote.
Here's their specifics. This is one thing they said. They say from the NAACP, they have displayed signs talking about the Tea Party and posters intended to degrade people of color generally and President Barack Obama specifically. But can Tea Partiers, not the question then, display their distrust or their dislike at a president because of his heritage? Because then it becomes a race dispute when maybe they just don't like his policy.
Exactly, and it is all policy based from the Tea Party perspective. The problem is that the NAACP, the Democrat Party, need race. They need race to be an issue, and Social Democrats absolutely need race to be an issue. The thing is that, and this is quite interesting, Martin Luther King Jr. said this. He said, "God made man from one blood. Let us be dissatisfied until the day nobody shouts white power, nobody shouts black power, but everybody talks about God's power and human power." And that's what the Tea Party is about. We don't care about race. And that's what incenses the NAACP and the Democrat Party so much, is that they specifically do care about race. And that's the problem. That's the fight that we're having.
Playing devil's advocate here, though, are maybe some who are Tea Partiers possibly racist. They don't belong to the group. It's certainly not what the Tea Party represents, but maybe do they give the group a bad name because they come out there with their signs and people are thinking this is what the Tea Party is about?
I'll tell you, I was at a Kissimmee rally, Tea Party, and I spoke at the Tea Party. One of the first things that I said is that if there's anybody in the crowd that has signs or that has a Confederate flag or has any kinds of these negative things, be careful, because I personally think that they're plants from the Democrat Party to make the Tea Partiers look bad.
There has been talk of it, and I'm sure this talk will continue with midterm elections coming up. We do thank you for coming us in.
My pleasure.
An ongoing topic. We do want to let everyone know that we have tried to contact the NAACP, but they are at their big conference up in Atlanta, so a lot of them not talking.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Mike?
Heidi, thanks. Today